that Breezy and Usher had to
Wait. Before you people start fighting in my comment section, come and sit down first. Because I have been watching these Chris Brown and Usher performances over and over. And honestly, Boston has given us another problem. And I'm not talking about whether the show was good. We already know it was good. My problem is this. After everything we've seen from this tour, who are we actually supposed to say stole this Boston show? Because if you ask Team Breezy, they'll tell you, Chris Brown finished everybody. Ask the Usher people, they'll look at you like, are you people forgetting who Usher is? And honestly, after watching what happened at Gillette Stadium, I understand both sides. So today, don't come here expecting me to sit down and give you some dry concert report. No. Today, let's gossip about this one like friends who just came back from the concert. Because I have been looking at these clips, and there are some moments where I'm literally saying, okay, Usher, I see you. Then Chris comes out and I'm like, wait, hold on, what is this? So grab your popcorn because we're going through Boston together. And before you reach that comment section, I already know one thing. Team Usher and Team Breezy are about to start another war. Now, let's start with the atmosphere, because you can't talk about this show without talking about Gillette Stadium. Look at this place. This isn't some little club where you can hide in the corner. This is a stadium. Thousands of people, and everybody came with the same two questions. What is Usher gonna do, and what is Chris Brown gonna do? That's it, because that's what makes this tour different. Normally, when you go to a concert, you're there to enjoy the artist. But this time, people are watching like it's a competition. They're watching Usher, then they're watching Chris, then they're comparing, then they're recording. Then somebody on Instagram says, Chris destroyed Usher. Another person replies, please, Usher is 47 and still doing what these young boys can't do. And 5 minutes later, boom, another argument. Now, let's talk about Usher, because I'm going to be very honest with you. There is something about watching Usher perform that is different. This man doesn't have to look like he's fighting for his life every second. He walks out there with that confidence, like, I've done this before, relax. And that's veteran energy. You can see the control, you can see the experience, you can see somebody who knows exactly how to work a stadium. And then he starts moving and the crowd starts screaming. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so this is why the Usher fans don't want anybody comparing him to Chris. Because to them, Usher isn't just another performer, he's the blueprint. But then Chris Brown enters the conversation. And this is where things get dangerous. Because Chris doesn't come with the same energy. This guy comes like, you want performance? Fine, take all of it. The dancing, the movement, the choreography, the stage effects, the dancers, the whole production. And when you put all of that together, you understand why Team Breezy is so loud. Because Chris Brown doesn't just sing his songs, he turns the performance into a physical show. And Boston got plenty of that. And please, let's talk about this production, because some of you are going to watch the footage and think I'm exaggerating. I'm not. There were dancers, break dancers, pole performers, flame effects, fireworks. The whole thing was built to look like a massive spectacle. And that's when I started asking myself, how much money are they spending on this stage? Because you don't just walk into a stadium with 2 microphones and say, okay, everybody, let's sing. No, they came prepared to give people a show. And then Chris and Usher come in and basically say, okay, now watch the main event. But let me ask you something. When you watch Usher's part, do you feel like you're watching somebody trying to compete with Chris? Or do you feel like you're watching somebody who is completely comfortable being Usher? Because that's an important difference. I keep seeing fans arguing Chris is more energetic. Okay, maybe, but does more energy automatically mean better? That's the question. Because Usher's strength has always been something else. Control, timing, charisma, that smoothness. He doesn't have to turn every second into an explosion. Sometimes the way he looks at the crowd, the way he moves, the way he controls the dancers, that's the performance. But then Chris Brown comes back and says, oh, you thought we were finished? And this is where I know the comment section is going to get crazy. Because Chris is doing things on that stage that make you wonder, how does this man still have energy? And that's what his fans love. They don't just want the song, they want the experience. They want the flying, the dancing, the choreography. They want that big moment where everybody pulls out their phone. And Boston got plenty of those moments. Look at the crowd. This is the part I always tell you people to watch. Don't just watch the artist, watch the audience. Because sometimes the crowd tells you who won before anybody says anything. Look at their reaction when Usher comes out. Then look at what happens when Chris appears. Which one sounds louder? Which one has more people standing? Which one has more phones in the air? That's your evidence. Now, I'm gonna make this harder. Let's say Usher gives you the vocals, Chris gives you the dancing. Usher gives you the veteran showmanship, Chris gives you the explosive energy. Usher gives you the nostalgia, Chris gives you the modern performance style. Who are you picking? Because now you can't hide behind they're both amazing. I know they're both amazing, that's why we're arguing. And this is exactly where I want to hear from the people who were actually there. If you attended the Boston show, come and talk to us. Don't let people who watched 3 clips on TikTok tell us what happened. You were there, you felt the crowd, you saw the stage, you saw Usher, you saw Chris. Who had the stadium in the palm of their hand? And then, after all the singing, the dancing, the screaming, all the effects, the fireworks come out. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, they really wanted people to remember this night. Because this isn't just another date on the tour anymore. The tour keeps getting bigger. And yesterday, the artist announced even more stadium dates, taking the run to 59 shows, which tells you the demand hasn't exactly disappeared. So whatever people are saying online, people are still showing up. And that's the part that matters.
Okay, I know you can hear me on the left side, right? Come on, so you pick one over there, I got one up here on the right. All right, let me do it.
But now, I want to change the question. Forget who is the better artist. That's too big. Let's talk about Boston, because somebody won Boston. Maybe Usher, maybe Chris. Maybe they actually split the night. Maybe Usher won the vocals, Chris won the dancing, and the audience won because they got both. That's possible too. But I want your answer. If you had one ticket and you could only watch one performance again, Usher or Chris Brown? Don't think about history. Don't think about age. Don't think about Team Breezy. Don't think about Team Usher. Just think about what you saw in Boston. Who gave you the moment you couldn't stop talking about? Because I've watched these clips more than once, and every time I watch them, I change my mind. One minute I'm saying, Usher got this. Then Chris comes on. Okay, maybe Chris. Then Usher comes back. Nah, wait. This is exactly why this tour has been so much fun to talk about. They don't perform the same way. They don't have the same strengths. And that's actually what makes the comparison interesting. So, StarPulse family, I'm done talking. Now it's your turn. I want this comment section to be the debate. Who stole Boston? Was it Usher? Was it Chris Brown? Or are we finally going to admit that putting these two together was never really about finding one winner? Maybe the real winner was everybody inside Gillette Stadium, because they got to watch two generations of R&B showmanship on the same stage. But I'm still asking you, who did it better, Usher or Chris Brown? Tell me why in the comments. And if you were actually at Gillette Stadium, I especially want to hear from you. Because I'm tired of these internet arguments where somebody watches one 15-second clip and declares a winner. Let's see the real opinions. And yes, I already know Team Breezy is typing. I already know Team Usher is typing. Come on, let's argue respectfully. StarPulse TV, we'll see you in the comments.